So here I am, back in my space, wide angle lens, showing you everything. And now I'm going to talk to you about the setup that I use for photography in a room like this. Obviously, it's not ideal. It's not a studio by any stretch of the imagination, but that doesn't mean you can't take fantastic photos. So, how would I go about doing that? Well, the biggest thing when it comes to photography is your lighting, composition, all of that. They are important, but the biggest factor is always going to be the lighting. So, how is it that I can make and take great photos in a space like this and I don't have the budget? Well, it's easy. First thing you do is get yourself a quality portable off camera flash. This is the Neewer Q3. Now, I can take this anywhere. It's so portable, it's rechargeable, it's something that I can use indoors or outdoors. It's powerful and it's compact. And you can fit it to just about any softbox with a Bowens mount. So this is my workhorse. Now, normally I would have a piece of diffusing layer on there because when I use it, it's going to have, um, a nice soft light when I do that. However, I just brought this out. So it's something that also folds up very, very easily. So that also makes it extremely portable. And part of the reason why I like using things like this is that I can get the shots that I want anywhere I want to go get them. And if you're limited in your storage, like most people, it's pretty easy to set up and break down. Now, that's what I used when I took this photo of my son. Now, if you'll notice in the photo of my son, the light falls off the left half of his face very, very gradually towards the right hand side, and it's very soft and it complements his features very, very well. Now, when I took my photo, I set that up right over here where my high key light is right now. So this is generally where I'm going to set most of my key lights, whether I'm doing video or photo. It just tends to complement my subjects all the more better. Now, when I did mine, I used two lights. And in the second one, I used this. This is a pop-up strip box from Neewer. Now, I really like a lot of their stuff. They don't sponsor me. I wish they would. But I find a lot of their stuff is your your cost versus what you get in return is really fantastic. So I've really loved all of their products that I've used so far. And on this particular straight box, I had it set up over here so that it would illuminate all of my body. Now, I could have gotten away with the one light. My son used the one light. Normally, I would like to use this off to the side, adding a rim light or, hair light to separate the background for a large group of people. So I would use that over here. So now that I've kind of talked about a little bit of the equipment, what is it that allows me to get those great shots and why use the off-camera flash? The off-camera flash means that I have so much more versatility in how and what I can shoot and in what environments I can do that. So in this particular environment, what I like to utilize is a feature that is on that light and on my camera, which is high speed sync. Now, with high speed sync, I can keep my aperture wide open to get a nice, blurry, creamy, bokeh out background. And I can also crank the shutter speed out to eliminate most of the ambient light of the room, and I can create a mood. You can do this indoors or you can do it outdoors. Now, what I could do is close down the aperture, but for me, I like the versatility of being able to use high speed sync. It tends to work for me, and I tend to get the results that I'm looking for. You might be different. Let me know in the comments what you like to do. That's just personally what works for me. And because I was able to do that, I was able to minimize the effects of this space, which isn't a studio by any means, and still get some great portraits. Now, I would say that another way you could do it as well, and what I used in conjunction with that, was instead of using one of my prime lenses, like say my 50 millimeter, I would use one of my zoom lenses, say something along the lines of my 70 to 200, and then that's going to allow me to add some compression. And when I add that compression, it also separates and blurs out the background. How much is all of this? So with this newer Q3, which comes with a wireless trigger, which I set somewhere inexplicably, all of those things are about, you can usually find it on sale for just under $200, which is a fantastic value for something like that. And if you only wanted to use that with my large Godox softbox, very large square softbox, it's really versatile. You can use it for just about anything. But if you needed to have some other separation of background, you could use this. Now, not on its own, but you could attach this using this small rig articulating arm, attach it to one of your light stands. This adds a second set of hands, and you could bounce light off of that. So that's going to be a nice soft white light, but because it's so versatile, it also comes with either a silver side or gold if you see fit. This is a 5-in-1. Or on the other side, you're going to have black, which would act as something that's going to give you negative fill if you've got too much light. Perhaps if you're outside, or you just want to not accent so much on, the other side of someone's face, if that's the look you're going for. But all of these things, even with the strip box, off-camera flash, large square softbox, everything all in, light stands, you're looking at something that is going to level up the quality of your work and your ability to do it just about anywhere. So if somebody asks you, hey, can you do this? You can pretty much always say yes. Whatever it is, indoors, outdoors, any type of challenging environment, you can usually make it work just by having these items in your tool chest. You can even use a speed light in some of these situations with that same trigger, as long as it matches the same ecosystem, so to speak. So with all of that, you could be all in for less than $400. And this is something you can use for a long time in so many different environments. And especially if you're going to be starting off, the lighting is everything. It really is. It's nice to have expensive lenses. It's nice to have a great camera, but without lighting, it doesn't really matter. So always look to invest in things like that, and don't overlook them. It's not as sexy to buy, an off-camera flash or a softbox as it is to buy a new lens. But I'm telling you, if you're doing portrait photography, it matters so much more in the short term and in the long term. Having great lenses really does matter, but if you don't have the light, what are we doing? It's like having a race car but no track. That's the way you kind of need to look at it. And I've invested in it, and I think that it's definitely paid dividends. Now I'm going to be going over more and more ways to use lighting and use reflectors and do things like that to up your lighting game in challenging situations. So stay tuned, like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, FB_imaging. Stay tuned.